Hello and welcome to Fashionado TV. I'm E. Vincent Martinez. Today we have a first. We've covered trending topics from the worlds of fashion, pop art, music, pop culture, but never featured real estate, more specifically, luxury real estate, until now. Joining me today is an expert, a guru in the field. Please welcome Nicholas Brown and all of his British charm to Fashionado TV. Did you like that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Nicholas, how are you?
Very well, and thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be your first. That's very honored and very flattering.
Well, you know, at my age, I can't. There aren't many firsts left, so this is great. And you know, luxury. We're going to talk about luxury, but luxury real estate is just a beast in itself. But before we really get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you get here?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a bit of a journey. So I originally hail from the United Kingdom. I was born there. However, my father was in the oil business, and so myself and my two siblings traveled and followed my father around the world. So we grew up partially in the Mediterranean, somewhat in the Asia-Pacific region. And then we actually, at one point back in the 80s, we ended up in Miami, which and my father worked away for long periods of time. So
I was there in the 80s.
Yeah, my mom called and said, "Hey, listen, I don't think I'm going to get real familiar with these drug wars and Uzis. So let's get back to the UK." So I met my now wife, Teresa, in my 20s. We dated for a while after I returned to finish schooling. It didn't quite work out. 7.5 years later, I received an email out of the blue, and I responded with, "What the hell do you want?" After trying to feign that I didn't love this individual anymore, I was back in the United States 18 months later, marrying Teresa. So we've been in the land for 18 years. My family, my children are from here, and it's been an exceptional place. It has been the longest I've ever had roots in one individual place. My family are in Bali, China, Australia, Dubai, and the US. That is where we stretch at this point.
I want to jump right into a quote that it's in your bio, and it resonated with me because I think the average person doesn't maybe think this way, or maybe it's just me. I don't think this way, but when I read it, I thought, man, this is so spot on. And you said your real estate journey is not just a transaction, it's a transformation. When you talk about transactions versus transformation, I mean, that's a pretty profound statement. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, of course, absolutely. And trust me, day to day, there's a lot of emotion involved. But, you know, Vincent, I think what I'm emphasizing here is that the process of buying or selling a home involves much more than a simple exchange of property and money. For me, it signifies a profound and life-altering experience for individuals and families. You know, you're looking at a lifestyle upgrade, new beginnings, investment growth, community and connection, personal growth, legacy building. You know, in essence, a real estate journey encompasses much more than a mere transaction. It's about a transformative impact that finding the right property can have on one's life, one's future, and one's overall well-being. I think it's about finding a place where dreams can be realized, memories can be created, and lasting positive changes can occur.
Wow. Damn, well, you sound like you know what you're talking about.
Somewhat. I'm getting long in the tooth.
So with that said, though, you know, I opened up in our introduction and I referenced luxury real estate, but let's talk about luxury a little bit too, because luxury may mean something different to other people. So what does luxury mean to you?
If I think luxury, I think exclusivity, I think elegance and aesthetics, I think exceptional service, comfort and convenience, status and prestige, timeliness, unique experiences, and really attention to detail. Ultimately, luxury is a complex, multifaceted concept that goes beyond material possessions. I think it's about the pursuit of excellence, the appreciation of beauty, and the desire for experiences and items that enhance one's quality of life in a way that feels special and meaningful to you. So for me, luxury, therefore, can take many forms and hold very different meanings for very different individuals.
I'm just curious. Do you watch those shows on TV like Million Dollar Listing or that Sunset one? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I do. And it's funny you should ask. So I've been interviewed several times for those sort of shows in Atlanta. And my response and my rhetoric to those companies, and actually, interestingly enough, I'm actually under contract at this moment in time with a production company that are trying to pitch a show with me and some other individuals, I think, as part of Private Client Network. Anywho, the one caveat, and you said a minute ago about you're okay if you swear. Well, I swore up a storm in front of this interview because I really just didn't have time for it. And they managed to pick me and say, well, we'd like to sign you for 12 months. But, I watch those shows, and my one caveat to being involved in any of those shows is I think it is a monstrous trajectory for one's business, and it can be huge for one's career. But my issue is I'm not interested in fake drama. I'm not interested in creating drama. If I'm interesting and entertaining and dynamic enough for you to want to watch me, we're golden. But if you are looking for us to create drama on set just for drama's sake, then I'm not going to be your guy. And I think that shuts down a lot of the conversations that I have.
100%. They want that drama. Are you kidding?
They do.
Absolutely. But the reason I bring it up, first, I could see that happening. And I've also seen some of your team, they're all very TV, friendly.
Yeah, for sure. They're much better looking than me, for sure. Absolutely.
Stop. But when I think of these shows and I see these real estate agents, male and female, and they look like $1 million. But how do you, TV aside, how do you distinguish yourself or differentiate yourself and your brand from other real estate agents and other brands, especially in Atlanta, which is I think it's very competitive.
It is. I mean, look, I'm British. What can I say? People find me very compelling and believe that I am extraordinarily intelligent and astute. No, for me, and it always has been a very unique value proposition, right? English is part of that. That is I cannot lie that I wouldn't tell you that people find that very interesting and is a great door opener for me. But you can't just have an accent, right? You've got to substantiate. So at this point in my career, 14 years in, I feel like with the work that we've put forth, I have established a tradition of excellence in residential real estate sales. I'm very authentic, great storyteller. I am an absolute expert at what I do, and I specialize very much in luxury. I think my customer service is exceptional. I provide exclusive access to a lot of clients to properties they may or may not be aware of. I think our luxury branding is first class. Our marketing is second to none, and I would say second to none on a national perspective. But I think, for me at this point, most importantly, I have a track record to prove worth. And those things, ultimately, after all of these years, are what differentiates myself and my brand. And if you work with me, people get to understand what they are going to be delivered as far as a luxury experience is concerned. And I think, my business has been so huge from a referral perspective because of the prior work done for other clients. And I would say that's probably 80 to 90% of my business.
I love your logo. How did you come up with that? And why did you start this brand in the first place?
It's another really good question. So I get asked this question a lot, and it's a lot of agents are extraordinarily confused by the ampersand and brown. So for me, real estate is very, very much defined by a partnership, right? If you are hiring me, you have expectations as to the level of service I'm going to deliver and the job that I'm going to do as far as the sales and marketing of your property is concerned. So for me, The and is my part of the partnership. So when I send out a luxury listing presentation, it will have Vincent and Brown, and that will be the first thing that you see. I courier that luxury listing presentation to your house. You receive it. You know what we're going to talk about. It's a beautiful piece of material that demonstrates that's the standard of excellence that we have by couriering it to the house. But this is the level of marketing that one should expect. And please understand that I consider this a partnership, and it's a partnership that is extremely important to me. So that's where the impetus of the name is concerned. It's really, really down to that level of partnership. Where it came from. So it's a really good question. So for 14 years in the business, and I was originally with Keller Williams. I moved over to Beecham and Company, and then Robert Reffkin, the founder and CEO of Compass, came to Atlanta, asked me to come and work for him. I said, I don't even know what Compass is. Why would I do so? Anyway, it turns out that through my younger years in the business, I had done a lot of new construction, and that new construction had grown into development business. And I started to realize that I needed a team. And Beecham were not pro-team. In fact, they're anti-team. They don't want that at all. And Robert was the complete opposite. He was very much pro-team. So I established this team, and it's fantastic, and we're storming up, and we're doing great, and we're producing, and there's volume, and I'm excited, and I'm creating legacies for other people's families. But in the pandemic, when things got shut down, there was just this moment of reflection and contemplation. And I just knew that I wasn't happy anymore. And I didn't quite put my finger on what it was. Was it because of the pandemic? Was it because of prior years? You know, I worked really, really, really hard in this business to get where I am, to the point of almost breaking myself. And so I sat back and I said, you know, what are the things that I enjoy? And the two things that I really enjoy is luxury and luxury real estate. And the second is land and land development. And so I took a step back and I decided to do a full reorganization of the business. So I operated under what was Brown Daniel Group. Brown Daniel Group is fantastic. We have had a resale business, new construction, new development business, but we didn't have a luxury arm. So Anne Brown was launched to be the luxury component, meaning that my luxury sellers at 4, 5, 6, 7 million were no longer in dilution on the Brown Daniel site as far as their marketing and branding. So we created a completely separate luxury brand, very slick, very clean, for our luxury sellers to take advantage of. And we just did a full reorganization. And I can tell you, I put in a sales director, we have the ops team, and now we have everyone in their different buckets from new construction to resale. And I couldn't be happier. And it has been very, very successful.
Agents like yourselves have a lot of affiliations that I think are also very impressive. They also help grow your brand, and that people maybe don't know about these affiliations. And one of them for you is the private client network. You're also part of Brits at Compass. So talk a little bit about those affiliations and what they mean to you and to your brand.
Yeah, really good question. So look, I'll take them one at a time because they are completely and utterly separate. So I'll start with the Brits of Compass. The Brits of Compass is just extraordinarily nostalgic for me. I am on a monthly Zoom call with 52 British people around the country. And as you know, Brits are very dry, sense of humor, wit. And I love it. It keeps me anchored to the United Kingdom. At times when I didn't even know I needed or wanted to. I'll tell you a funny story. We had a new member join the other day, and one of the funny questions they asked at the end was, so what's your favorite dessert? And he said, tapioca. And I think 51 other people on the call said, kick him out. He's no longer invited to the group, which I thought was absolutely hilarious because he admitted he liked tapioca. So but don't get me wrong, they are smart, they are business people, they are exceptional agents in many different markets around the country. I'm very excited to go and meet with them for the first time in San Diego at the next Compass retreat. So yeah, that's my real fun group. We have a WhatsApp, and it's really, really fun. The private client network, on a more serious level, and I'm very honored to be the one-of-one agent partner in Atlanta. So I'm the only agent within the private client network for Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
What that is we cover 60 of the top luxury markets within the United States. So Kevin Snedden, who heads up Private Client Network, has hand-selected agents in those markets from Aspen, Chicago, New York, Miami, Boca, you name it, Palm Beach. And we have some of the best agents, not just within Compass, but within the country. I mean, there are some big hitters, billion-dollar agents. And it is astonishing to me the amount of time some of these billion-dollar producers will give you. And it's a thrilling environment. It has changed my concept and my thought process toward real estate. You know, I sat in a room a year ago now when we did the retreat in Atlanta, and I'm literally 4 of the agents on stage that I'm listening to are billion, and I'm talking sales volume on an annual basis, billion-dollar producers. And I'm looking at what they're wearing, and I'm like, not one of them has a suit on. All of their threads are beautifully dressed, but they do not wear a suit. And so I completely revamped our team's dress code, because I was always suit, suit, suit. And I was like, guys, I'll give you enough rope so you don't hang yourself. But at the end of the day, spend the money, make yourself look good. But I'm not going to dictate you have to be in a suit. But that all being said, that private client network gives me a reach outside of Atlanta. It makes me have much bigger footprint. And now Compass just added through a partnership, we now have a global footprint so we can serve Europe at this moment in time as well. So it's the best thing I ever did was move to Compass. And I bleed black and white through and through.
Yeah, wow. Well, your reach certainly goes way further than Atlanta. And I will say on a fashion note, if we took away any fashion tips from Succession this year, it's quiet luxury.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And if you know, you know. So,
you know, exactly. You don't have the logo on your shirt. Let me be clear.
Exactly. You've also been recognized for your achievements and for your hard work. I mean, rightfully so. They're very well deserved. Some of the accolades that I am aware of, and if you would not mind, really elaborating on them a little bit, like the industry MVP.
Listen, this is the part where I'll probably have more or less to say than you would probably want for me to say. It's very honoring, very flattering. That was actually a peer voted award, so that comes from other agents. All very flattering. But my secret sauce, Vincent, is really just to remain a true client-focused agent approach with excellence in service, which is recognized by both industry peers, work colleagues, and past clients. And, I love the accolades, but I love what I do more. This is a life that I don't know that I could have chosen. I fell into this business through an absolute position of hardship. Back in 2009, my wife said, get a license. I said, it's the worst residential real estate market ever known to man. Why would I do that? But I was gainfully unemployed. My wife was working 3 jobs. My father was paying my mortgage, and I was on Social Security, and it forced my hand. And so, having trained with the Ritz-Carlton, I was able to take a lot of those skills that I had and move them into this business. And interestingly, a lot of those transferable skills have created recognition, because I'm all about that service. I'm all about that luxury. So it's very honoring and it's very flattering, but I'm only as good as my last transaction is how I see it.
Well, you know what? I expected your response to be on the lean towards the modest side. So you asked. That's good. I appreciate that. But many appreciate you. And there's another accolade, which will actually segue into another topic I want to discuss, which is very important, and that is philanthropy. And you won or were honored with the most philanthropic agent award from the from Modern Luxuries, the Atlantan. That's
So
that's
if you
award, but
it again, very flattering, very honored for me. If you want to extrapolate time or money from Nicholas Brown and his family, then you should enter into a conversation about how to benefit children. It's just a heartstring for me. And as I look around the country and where we're at and where things are at and the poverty, and we're not fixing our levels of hunger and, needy children, that is where I go to. A couple of years, I used to do a huge gathering for clients at the end of every year. And it's a holiday party. And as I sort of got towards the end of each year, I'd noticed that the numbers were diminishing, dwindling. And I'm like, I'm spending all this money on food and beverage minimums and rooms, and people just have parties to go to. So I just made a decision. I said, listen, you either love me or you don't love me, but me throwing you a party isn't going to be the be all and end all of our relationship. So I started taking that money and I started donating it. So my two biggest donators, the donations that I give to, is Children's Healthcare of Atlanta and St. Jude's. Both just again revolve around children, but life has been extraordinarily generous to me and my family and has completely changed my legacy. If I can't do a little bit to give back, I don't think that I deserve what I've managed to earn. It is exceptionally important to do that for your community and for your people. And I don't need awards or recognition for that. I have garnered them. That's not why I do it. I do it because it's the right thing to do.
You're never too late or too young or too old to be philanthropic, to do something for the community that's going to help the community. And you're clearly doing that. And actually, you mentioned Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, CHOA. They are a very special organization. And they're also the benefactors, as I know, of the Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles magazine's designer show house. Will you talk a little bit about being the diamond sponsor for the designer show house? What does that mean exactly to you?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's a big coincidence or a very big bonus that Children's Healthcare are the beneficiaries of all of the ticket sales and the monies generated by the Holiday Designer Show House. But I'm extraordinarily proud and privileged to have been selected as the listing agent for 88 The Park, or the address is 88 Interlochen Drive. It's at Chastain Park, a wonderful California contemporary residence. Big house, 12,500 square feet, impeccable finishes. I won't say too much about it because we've got to make sure that there's more for the magazine to see. But I was approached this year. Compass did not renew their membership, and I was approached by our luxury brand affiliate within Compass, and he presented an opportunity for me to become the diamond sponsor. And it's interesting because the opportunity came after I'd already been selected as the agent. And as our luxury brand specialist within Compass, he and I sat and chatted and thought, listen, no agent has ever done this in Atlanta. It has never happened. It has always been a brokerage. It's never been an individual. That is a massive opportunity to differentiate and align myself with the upper end of the market.
Makes you a trailblazer.
Well, I mean, yes, to a certain extent.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to visit the show house myself. And Compass is very, very fortunate to have a luxury specialist who you referred to, and to have you as such a amazing agent. Before we finish off today, Nicholas, would you leave us with a few words of wisdom?
I think this is an extraordinarily rewarding business, but don't be misillusioned and don't come into this misguided. It takes a tremendous amount of work, sweat, and at the end of the day, if you're willing to commit to that, and you're willing to commit to that for a 24-month period of time where you eat, sleep, breathe your business, your work, you're cultivating relationships, and you're really willing to put yourself out there, the rewards are second to none.
Nicholas, you are a great businessman and a really wonderful human. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And I want to join that Brits for Compass. I just want to
anytime. We'll have you. We just got to work on your accent there.
Okay, I'll fake one.